Monday morning, I'm joined by Nathan Corden from Toaster Racecourse, following a fabulous Saturday night Star Sports and Toaster Events and Leisure Greyhound Derby, the first since the return to the track. Nathan, I was there. I think everybody I've spoken to had an absolutely fabulous time. Did you see it that way?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was difficult for me because I was in sort of the presentation area all night and sort of glued to the spot. But everybody who came to that area started talking about things. They're having a great time, and it was just nice to see a crowd. It was nice to see a greyhound community. Everybody wanting to come together and have a great night. Enjoyed a great racing. We had some great entertainment on as well. Yeah, it was nice. I think my voice is still a little bit hoarse now from all the talking and chatting after racing and shouting during it. So yeah, it was a great night. It really was.
It is noticeable. I know certainly Toaster, to give credit to them, they did try and get a kind of a festival feeling to the meetings before, because they have the space, and I realised it wouldn't have been possible when you're at Nottingham. You're very, very limited in terms of what you could do. Kevin carried that on with particularly with the music, which I thought was a big success. It occurred to me that this is something that I'm say our generation, well, I'm a little bit older than you, but certainly the younger generation, they will expect and anticipate if they're going to come for a night out at an event like that, won't they?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we knew we wanted to open the gates early, with track and trace and things like it was going to take time to get people through the turnstiles. And with that volume of people, we just thought, well, they're going to be in. Let's give them something to try and enjoy before racing. So that was the music before racing. Obviously, I think the music the music after racing is going to be a given now for all derbies. You need that entertainment, don't you? People expect it, like you say, and it just prolongs the fun and the enjoyment of the night.
And of course, the national anthem. And I gather there's a bit of a Greyhound connection there, isn't there?
Yeah, the Chris Brooks, who was the frisbee man, who passed away the other year. His last time I met him, he showed me some video coverage of his daughter singing down at sort of a college in London, and she was fantastic. And he just said, "Oh, I'd love it at some point if she could sing the national anthem at the Greyhound Derby final night." So I approached them. Well, I really wanted to do it at Nottingham last year, but obviously with COVID, you couldn't do that. So when I asked Katie, Chris's wife, that whether Ella could do it, they were absolutely delighted and honoured to be asked. And I think everyone was amazed at how well she sang, and she held it together. And her dad would have been very proud of her.
That's lovely. Yeah, the only complaint I heard, and we're not going to shy away from it. The only complaint I heard was people struggling to get drinks.
Yeah, 100%. We that's the only sort of the negative sort of feedback I've had as well. Yeah, we know. In one way, it's an easy solution. More staff. It didn't help that about 8 staff didn't turn up on the night. So you're already a little bit behind the black ball there, aren't you? And you can make all these plans, all the staff to get them in, and then some just don't turn in. It just doesn't help you and puts you on the back foot. But on a positive with that, it is an easy fix. We just know we need to get even more staff in for next time.
Yeah, I mean, certainly when I sort of spoke to Kevin about it, as always, he was completely open. He said, "Listen, in the middle of May, we didn't even know we would have a derby final. We've had a stadium that's been closed down, so we didn't have any staff to call on. They've all had to kind of hit the ground running." And I think when you bear all that in mind, I thought it made a fantastic effort. I mean, the marquee looked superb. There was just a lovely buzz about the place, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think Kevin's spot on. It's been no crowds in for 15 months, and then all of a sudden you're allowed crowds in. You're allowed certain things back, and you've got 0 hospitality part-time staff. And within the space of 5 weeks, you've had to get up to something that can cope with a derby final. And yes, we probably just missed out a little bit there, not quite getting the numbers right, but it's a lesson learned, and for next year, we'll be spot on.
Yeah, so very, very much so. There is one thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. When I got home on Saturday night, there was an email, and I thought, yeah, there'll be some complaints about Toaster, because there always are. But this was a little bit different. And in the first instance, the reason I'm reading it is the fact it came from Rita Williams, Harry's wife.
Yeah.
Now, I think we can both agree that the Williamses are some of the nicest people you could ever meet in this industry.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, by the nature of the letter I'm about to read, I think we'll discover that they are no longer in the industry, which I was absolutely shocked by. Anyway, let me read this to you. And from Rita, it says, "Hi Floyd, Harry and I are now out of greyhound racing, but tonight we just remembered it was the biggest night of the year. So at 9:05 p.m. we put RPG TV 427 programme on, watched the derby, and at 9:09 p.m. Monmore Racing. We commented, how on earth has the sport come to this? We then switched back to a TV channel. How on earth can the sport progress with the SIS Arc divide? It's heartbreaking to think when they were in charge, it was a fantastic 4-hour live programme. I think the British Greyhound Board needs to take this in hand and say enough is enough. And Category 1 finals are all shown on one programme for the entire night. How can owners ever want a greyhound if they've not got proper coverage? Betting TV need to be curtailed to progress the dying industry." Signed, Rita Williams. Now, it struck me, for a start, as I said, I'm absolutely gutted that Harry and Rita... I first came across Harry when I joined the Greyhound Star in 1987, and he just bred, literally, they were a few months old, that fantastic litter, Pond Hurricane and Spitfire and the rest of them. Known them all that time. When they opened Sunderland, or Harry as a partner opened Sunderland, brought it back from an independent track. And having looked at it and thought about what's in the letter, it seemed to me that it was a reflection of the gap between the betting industry and the greyhound industry. Quite why it was deemed necessary to have a secondary meeting. I wasn't even aware that there was a Monmore meeting on Saturday. I'd assumed that the whole programme would have been strictly Toaster. Surely to God, a meeting like that could have deserved its own special programme. I mean, what? I'm not putting you in this position here, Nathan, but just as trying to take a sensible, can it be justified?
Listen, like you, I didn't see what TV coverage was there, and I think we are in a different world from years ago when Sky Sports were around and it was a dedicated show for that particular meeting. And I've got great respect for both Harry and Rita there, and you want the pinnacle of the sport to be the centerpiece, don't you? Really. Having not seen it, maybe I can understand a little bit where they're coming from. We need to shout loud and clear, and the best of the best nights of the year.
Yeah, and I don't want this to seem like an anti-RPG TV thing, because I'm not blaming them, and I think Clive Lawrence would absolutely love to have the $100,000 a program or whatever it was that Dave used to get when they had it. So it genuinely isn't that, but I think questions have to be asked. How on earth can that happen? That you fit in derby races, so many high quality races, Cat 1 finals, £3,000 finals, and significant even individual races. How can that be rammed into a program? I mean, I did hear a complaint quite recently. Somebody said, yes, they watched the program, but they didn't think that the program made the meeting seem special. And I think that's very sad, because those of us that were there, even allowing for the fact we were, some of the accommodation wasn't there that should have been on site, there was some staff short and whatever. If you were at that stadium or that race course on Saturday night, I'd be amazed if you didn't have a good time. And it's just such a shame that this has happened.
I mean, there was a buzz around the place. So, I mean, I think the only thing I'll probably say is come to the track, come and enjoy it.
Yeah. The other point I think needs to be said as well is that RPG TV needs Toaster more than Toaster needs RPG TV, and I think that was quite evident in terms of the crowd that was there on Saturday, and how only you will know how the crowds have been harmed on the earlier rounds, and people can sit at home. Let's face it, they don't even have to pay for the coverage. I mean, it's not even as though it's part of a Sky service that they're paying 20 quid a month for or whatever. They're getting for absolutely free, and I don't know, there's something just a little bit not right as far as I'm concerned. The other thing I noticed, there was some very good feedback from Ireland, and I was asked to point out that PJ Fahy was apparently a very happy man. I hadn't noticed until it was pointed out to me by Brian King, but PJ's Pinhead, his fantastic brood, is the foundation brood for the winner and the second in the final. And in fact, I think PJ bred the grandams of both the first and second, and according to Brian, he was absolutely made up. He again has dropped out of dogs, hasn't had greyhounds for a while, but according to Brian, this just might inspire him a little bit to get involved again.
I had a chat with Brian. Time's gone now, whether it was quarter-final night or semi-final night, but yeah, we were hoping this could get him reinvigorated, and you know, maybe we can do something again like he's done before at Toaster.
Yeah, such a lovely man. Again, a massive loss. We don't need to keep losing people like this out of the industry. But Nathan, thank you for joining me. We're already looking forward to next year with everything in place, and you know, no reason for it everything to not be in situ.
Well, hopefully so. I mean, Kevin's very keen to get a 5-year deal sorted out as soon as possible to run the derby. So I think he has spoken to the GBGB about that, and you know, Toaster has the facilities, you know, to put on a showpiece race such as the derby, and you know, everybody who was there on Saturday can see how well that side of it works. Yeah, there'll be tweaks here and there to make it even bigger and better for the future, but you know, where else can host that amount of people and have the space to do other things as well?
Fantastic. Nathan, thank you.